Good evening. So I'm online to talk about some present issues in the landscape of geopolitics, global politics. My today's podcast is on some major issues globally, which includes BIMSTEC Summit, Gaza aggression by the Israeli Authority, EU Middle Asia Summit, Ukraine-Russia war, and how polarization is being made is reshaping the world, or how these issues are becoming more and more close to us in terms of our regional understanding and understanding in terms of global politics and also national politics. If I consider BIMSTEC Summit to 2025 as a first point, I consider it very important, as in Southern Asia, in the Bay of Bengal civilization, there is a very important development in terms of diplomatic situation and all, or cross-border situation, which is tensions between Bangladesh and India, which is a very recent one, and also both the players have a very vital role in the Bay of Bengal civilization, or countries or members of BIMSTEC. BIMSTEC is a group of nations who are sharing the resources or the shorelines of the Bay of Bengal, and they meet every 3 years in the member countries, and they see their developments, and they discuss their bilateral and multilateral issues on the basis of cooperation and brotherhood. BIMSTEC Summit this year is hosted by Thailand, and Thai Prime Minister Ms. Shinawatra has hosted all the heads of states of member countries of BIMSTEC. And Bangladesh has been elected as the next president of BIMSTEC, and Bangladesh's interim head of the government, Professor Dr. Muhammad Yunus, who is a Nobel laureate and advocate of poverty eradication in the world, and also preacher of social business model, which promotes inclusion of poor people in mainstreaming financial distribution or economic redistribution. And also Bangladesh and Indian Prime Minister has a sideline meeting where they promised boosted bilateral relationship between their countries, and both the nations will be developing their relationships, their diplomatic ties and trade and commerce ties in near future, as both heads of states responded to each other with their commitments, where it's true that India is hosting or given shelter to the ousted Prime Minister of Bangladesh. the late the fled dictator Sheikh Hasina, and who is also a convicted person for genocide as per the Bangladesh International Criminal Court (ICT), and also UN report has found her involved in inhuman treatment, in human rights violation, in genocide, and also crimes against humanity. Also, there are declarations in terms of cooperation between the two countries, and also there are other countries, member states, who has sideline meetings between them, and also a memorandum of understandings and other agreements between them. All and The member states, the BIMSTEC Summit has some agreements among the states, including cross-border terrorism reduction, and also an agreement to counter cross-border terrorism, which includes sharing information and coordination with IORA and Indian Ocean Rim Association, and also UNODC, to help tackle drug smuggling in among the countries. There is a Bangkok 2030 declaration, which outlines the future of the BIMSTEC member states, and also how the BIMSTEC member states will promote peace and prosperity, and also to help reshape the economy of the member countries, sisterly countries and brotherly countries, where the economy of BIMSTEC countries is $4.7 trillion, which is 25% of the ASEAN total economy. So these countries are very important in reshaping the geopolitics of Asia, and in fact these members contribute a lot in reshaping the Indo-Pacific geopolitics, and also trade and commerce and economics. My next point is Gaza aggression. I am not furious, I am thoughtful. How Israel behave in such a way, if you consider international law, even the constitution of Israel, this is a violation of Israeli constitution. This is a violation of international humanitarian law. This is a violation of international customary law. This is a violation of human rights. The way, even after the ceasefire, the way Israeli occupying forces are aggressing Gaza, bombarding, destroying civil infrastructures, hospitals, children hospitals, maternity clinics, praying grounds and mosques, graveyards, refugee settlements, especially IDP camps, safe zones, children parks, drinking facilities, NGO facilities, cooking facilities, and also other infrastructures, especially civil infrastructures and living places. They are destroying everything abruptly and indiscriminately. This bombardment, this killing, and these air raids are clear violation of human rights and international human rights law and international humanitarian law. But we cannot stop them. There are analysts who are saying that this is a collective failure of international community to bring the Israeli Authority to book, and there is no commitment from international community to bring peace in in Gaza, in Palestine, and the UN has failed to ensure protection for Gazan and also the Palestinian people, and to hold the Israeli military accountable for the violation of international human rights law and humanitarian law, and also to breach the Geneva Convention as agreed uh, ceasefires are to be respected and to be maintained and to be upheld by the signatories and the other parties of the agreement. The next point is we have seen some development in Middle Asia as EU leaders has met with the Middle Asia leaders, like leaders from Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Mongolia, and other Middle Asia countries. There is a summit, and the summit has promised improved communication and relation with the European countries or European Union and Middle Asia countries. The European Union President von der Leyen has promised trade packages and aid packages for Middle Asia countries, where they have promised to improve the digital structure of the Middle Asia countries, and also Middle Asia countries are promised to provide are promised by the European Union in terms of European Union is going to provide important technologies to support extract the minerals of Middle Asian countries and to use them in a sustainable way, and also the European Union offers trade routes, transportation and communication to the Middle Asia countries to have trade and commerce between the region, and to enhance the existing trade and commerce to bring down the trade deficit between the region. So this is a very important development, as the Middle Asia members of that summit are the members of ex-Soviet Russia. So they have kind of relationship with Soviet Russia, and also they are now trying to build relationship with the European Union, or European Union is using the relationship and also building more stronger ties with the ex-members of Soviet Russia. So it has some kind of significance in terms of putting pressure on the shoulder of Russia, and also light weighing Russia's trade influence on Middle Asian countries. So this summit will help rebuild and reshape politics in Middle Asian countries, and also the political and diplomatic expansion in terms of positive relationship building of the European Union. The next point is Ukraine and Russia war. There is a ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia, and there is a phone call between Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Let's see how the ceasefire will get into a solid solution, and how the parties will get into the table and will start dialogues to see a sustainable solution to the crisis although it's indicated by the analysts that as Donald Trump took office in last uh, couple of months, we see developments in terms of international relationships, specifically US policy towards Ukraine and Russia. So we see some heated argument between the president of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, and US President Donald Trump in the White House, where Ukrainian president has been called to the White House to discuss the future of Ukraine-Russia war and the the flow of aid of US to the Ukrainian Authority. So as there is a kind of um, uh, demotion in relationship between Ukraine and the USA. We see lesser commitment by the US authority towards Ukraine, where the foundation of the warfare or Ukraine's war machinery, US aid packages the lifeline of the entire Ukraine war machinery. So there is a shift in this regard too. So if we consider Ukraine-Russia war, U.S. response to these crises is a very important issue, as USA is also putting pressure on NATO to bring up their military expenditure from existing 3% to 5%, which is putting extreme pressure on the shoulders of EU states, as they are now going through some kind of budget cuts and reshuffle of their budgets, and also mobilization of their internal and external resources in terms of bringing up their military expenditure. So we see different kind of scenario in international politics, be it BIMSTEC Summit, Gaza aggression, and EU Middle Asia Summit, Ukraine-Russia war. So there are different players, there are different beneficiaries. So different players are trying to reiterate their position, and also the beneficiaries are negotiating with the players. So the geopolitics is getting more polarized, but maybe we can see multipolarization, which is good in some point, but also the players are getting unrest. That restlessness may lead them to more blind in implementing their external policies or foreign policies. So let's see how the players are interpreting these polarization, and also how beneficiaries can come up with more sustainable way to use the polarization in favor of their nation states. Thank you.